Time now for our daily focus report, and we're looking at how to make the ABCs easier to learn. France carrying out a number of education reforms. Among them, it's reallocating funds to schools that are in so-called priority education zones. It's also shrinking the classroom size for 6- and 7-year-olds. But not all schools are getting the sorely needed reforms.
The school year only started a month ago, and teachers have already taken to the streets. It's a warm-up for a larger protest set to take place on November 12th. Among their grievances, overcrowded classes and a chronic lack of teachers.
There are big recruitment problems. That is to say, the job isn't attractive enough. So candidates aren't lining up to take the exam. We also have trouble replacing people. So when colleagues are off sick, they're not systematically replaced, which means the children have to be shared out among other classes.
We always hear that education is a priority, but for it to be a priority, there needs to be a sufficient level of investment to overcome the challenges.
A lot of dissatisfied teachers. Yet this year, the government made primary education its top priority. It's created an extra 3,800 jobs, with the aim of reducing class sizes for the first 2 years of primary school in so-called priority education zones, like here in Le Crotoy, in northern France. In this school, these pupils, mostly from working-class backgrounds, are given extra attention. The youngest are in classes of just 11 children, less than half the national average of 23.6.
Allez, vous allez vous installer dans le calme à votre place.
After attending much bigger kindergarten classes, these kids now benefit from individual attention. The goal is to help improve their grasp of reading, writing and maths. This teacher approves of the changes.
Inevitably, they will participate more, and it's easier to involve them when there's just 11 of them. It also makes it much easier to help children who are struggling.
Barely a month into the start of term, parents have already noticed the progress.
I find that the teacher has more time to look after each child, and I can see that my boy is learning better by being in a small group.
She works better, she's more focused on what she does. It's really nice to see that. I think it's great.
With results so far encouraging, the school hopes to be able to roll out the changes to older children next year. But other schools haven't been as lucky. Even though it's in a more disadvantaged area, an administrative quirk means this primary hasn't been classified as part of a priority education zone, and some of the classes here number 30 or 31 children. Threatened with the cancellation of one of the classes, parents rally together to keep it going. But they're still calling for a teaching assistant and a full-time head teacher. The current head juggles the job with teaching the Year 3 class 2 days a week.
It's difficult because she teaches classes at the same time. She does science with us, and she has to correct our exercise books and be head teacher at the same time.
Foreign children who don't speak French also enroll here regularly, and parents say the Education Authority isn't taking into account the need for extra teachers, nor the neighbourhood's socio-economic problems.
It feels like we're constantly having to fight for this school, even though we know our situation. They know what difficulties we have. We have people dealing drugs nearby, and families live in tower blocks around here, often in unhealthy, overcrowded conditions. There are families of 5 to 6 people living in 2 rooms.
The school's former head teacher says staff here are paying the price for the smaller classes in priority areas.
Head teacher positions have been scrapped to redeploy staff to teach the smaller classes, which is a good thing for those schools. But unfortunately, it's also indisputably at the cost of establishments like ours, which there are a lot of.
To justify these part-time positions, the Education Authority says it's applying the same criteria nationally. With 12 classes and an average of 25 pupils per class, the school is below the departmental average outside of priority zones. It's therefore not entitled to a full-time head. So are some schools being sacrificed for smaller classes in priority zones? The government denies it. The education minister calling it political manipulation of isolated cases.
It's quite simple. We created 3,800 jobs this year. We improved the teacher-to-pupil ratio in every department in France. And also, we've just had classes going back to school. And yesterday at the National Assembly, where there are plenty of opposition parties, you haven't heard one person say that the school year hasn't got off to a good start.
The minister is adamant that they've created enough jobs this year to cover the extra primary school classes in priority areas. But unions don't agree. Neither do some schools in the Normandy countryside. Although the number of pupils remains constant, the authorities want to close them. 8 local mayors have been challenging this decision, and Rouen administrative court has ruled in their favour, for this school year at least.
It's not a victory. It'll be a victory when the National Education Authority takes into account what elected officials are saying and when they put children at the heart of the debate.
As the government focuses on priority education zones, other schools are fighting to not be left out.